Hey everyone, it's Adelaide Winterstep and welcome to today's video. Before we get into this highly requested video, first is for a second, we need to stop and go ahead and get a word from our sponsor. Excited to present this video to all of you about realistic role-playing and what it is. First, we need to define it though for those of you who don't know. Role-playing is playing and acting out part as another person or character from who you are in real life. So basically in Star Stable, you go online and you could pretend that you were someone and that you had certain horses and certain life, and you could play as another character and you could just enjoy yourself and make up any fun storyline for yourself. And that's why it's so fun. Realistic roleplay is actually based though on real life though. So for instance, you get to choose your character and what horses she owns, what horses she rides, where she lives and such, and where she rides at her barn, and obviously what discipline she rides and what tack she wears and all that fun stuff, but it just relates to real life. The first part to this though is how do you get active in the realistic roleplay community? The first part that you can do is start by joining roles in Global. Roles are basically things like Academy, Ride, or Wild roles. You've probably seen these in Global before if you've been on Star Stable for a bit. And you'll notice these roles are basically where you act out some scenes or you pretend to play something, a certain idea, with a group of people. And it's kind of a fun way to get connected in your community and just do some fun things with a couple of friends. For instance, these roles could be things called Academy roles, which are basically roles where you pretend that you're at a riding academy and you have a new horse and you have to go out to a lesson or something. Or they could be just basic rider rules, or they could be wild rules where you're a wild horse. Realistic roleplay though, if you want to start up in realistic roleplay, riding academy and rider roles are the two main ones. And it's basically where you can pretend to have lessons with a group of people, and it's just so fun. These are really crucial parts to beginning your journey in realistic roleplay because it invites you into the idea of doing roles and pretending and using lines and such. But obviously, live shows are another option. Live shows are where you literally get together with a bunch of people and pretend to have a horse competition all together. This is such an exciting concept because it means that you can compete in things such as hunter and equitation and jumper and dressage and even Western events like reining and Western pleasure. And it's just such a fun time because you get to hang out with a bunch of people on your server and you get to meet new people and new riders, and you get to challenge yourself to compete against others, and it's such a fun time. So I'm using NAJHA as my example. This is NAJHA, and you can go on this website, link it down below. It's a horse show association for Star Stable, and they do American servers mostly, and you can even register a horse like you do in real life. They have a rule book and stuff, so I recommend checking it out if you're curious about how it works. But basically, you would just go on, they would announce maybe a show, and you would go on to that server that they say on that time and make sure that you're registered, so long as you registered before the due date. Then you go ahead and set, and you compete, and they'll call names and such in Discord, so make sure to link all that below if you're really curious. Obviously, the main part though is using social media to connect with people. There are different methods of realistic roleplay showing up. This is Lucky Clover Rescues, and they are actually a rescue where they pretend to rescue horses and horses that were typically beaten up in the previous life, and then they resell them later on. The method of reselling on Star Stable, you don't actually have to buy this horse with real money. No, that's not allowed. But instead, you ask them and inquire, and all you need is that horse in your actual game, so that when they approve it, you can pretend that that is the horse that you got from that rescue. And so it's a really fun concept, and it's a way for you to connect with the community in a totally different way, but also feel like you're doing real life inside of this fantasy game. And that's what's so fun about it. The second part too, you can buy tack. This is Jollister, for instance, and you can pretend to buy tack from their new collections. It's not actual tack, but it's just fun edits that they make that just makes it seem so real. Also, you can obviously check out these super duper awesome Instagrammers. These were the first ones that showed up for me to gain inspiration and understand, if you're still confused about what realistic role-playing is, to understand how it goes on and what the setup is. There are so many creative creators out there who are coming up with amazing content. I don't have any clue how they come up with this cool content, but I definitely recommend checking all of those resources out and figuring out what you love the most and what makes your experience of realistic role-playing the most realistic and close to real life. Part 2, though, is crucial, getting those outfits. A realistic roleplay, Star Stable in general, is just a very visual game, and so having the right outfit for the right discipline and what you're writing that day, or if you're pretending to have a lesson, as realistic roleplayers do, you want to have some nice outfit options and come up with creative outfits, because visual is really, really important in realistic roleplay for us. And so I definitely get my inspiration from places like Pinterest, Horse and Rider magazine, Noel Floyd magazines and different social media sites that allow you to gain inspiration for what real outfits look like so that you can try and remake them in Star Stable. And that's what makes another thing super fun, is creating these realistic outfits and making you and your horse look like such a real life pair that people are like, whoa. I typically shop at the mall because it obviously is everything, or Madame ASP in Governor's Fall. It's by far one of the most realistic places, actually, with a bunch of really cool gear. We also have the secret shop by the Jorvik Riding Hall that has a really good saddle, and it's so specific, but it's one of my faves. And any store in Jarlheim in general, all these small hidden stores actually have awesome tack and apparel. So I definitely recommend checking all those out. And now, it's time for me to get on to some of my favorite outfit items in game. This vest from the mall that says Star Stable Team on the back. This shirt that is available at Madame ASP in Governor's Fall. This red show coat available at the mall for a pretty hefty price, but it's great. This helmet available in Governor's Fall that's very, very realistic and detailed. This easygoing pullover from the mall. This sweater from Miss Fall that's used for dressage. This polo from the Lifetime shop in Moreland. This sweater duo from Madame ASP in Governor's Fall as well is a lovely color. This warming up windbreaker, where I actually legitimately don't know where it's from, but you can definitely check the database for that, because I should, but I can't find it. This striped polo shirt from Questing, which they'd never mentioned this specific quest and I don't remember it either. These super nice pants from Madame ASP in Governor's Fall. This lovely, lovely saddle pad from the mall. This orange pad that one day popped up in my inventory and I literally don't know where it's from either. This black saddle pad from a store in Governor's Fall. This blue saddle pad from the mall that works with practically every single tack set. This brown Iberian saddle pad that is also from the mall. This green saddle pad also from the mall that has a really, really cute emblem on the side that just looks so professional and regal. This blue saddle pad with a horse on this side that is actually from the market with Ferdinand and that whole group. This black gel half pad that can be found at the mall as well. This brown saddle that you can find at that secret store I was mentioning earlier by the Jorvik Stables Arena. This Steve saddle that can actually be found in Silverglade Village, I believe, or by Marley's. I think it's Silverglade Village though. This black saddle pad with icing and some light fur on the edge. These blue leg wraps, which I believe are from the mall or something along those lines. These brown Iberian leg wraps that are also from the mall on top of that. These really lovely front strap boots that are actually from the Christmas Village this year. These blue boots that are from the mall tech store. These black boots from a small store in Jarlheim City. And these blackish blue boots that are either from the Lifetime store or a Quest, I think. I have no clue. Now, realistic roleplayers don't typically use ribbons unless they're feeling extra fancy, but if they do choose to use them, they might be for a show where they correlate to these signs when your horse is wearing them. So go ahead and check out that chart. And lastly, these are the 4 major colors that I choose to collect so that I have matching tack sets, since these are really prominent colors in a lot of Star Stables tack, but you can choose other colors. There's so many other options. I just do that for the ease so I can mix and match all of my tacking gear. I find that I prefer matching my shirt, saddle pad, and horse boots all together, and then my bridle, saddle, normal human boots, gloves, and helmet all together. And my pants usually will be of the similar color as well, and I find that that just works best. If you're curious about some of the gear I mentioned, or you just want to know about some more possible gear, make sure to check out the Star Stable database. I'm linking that down below, just like I am with everything else, and it should have just about everything that you might need to look for. Lastly, taking videos and pictures so that you can post and update people on your realistic roleplay status and basic, storyline. Anyways, so for this, you'll need to be able to access your photo mode. Some platforms don't have this. I've heard of some platforms don't. So if you don't, use these tips for screenshots using an outside source like Bandicam or Fraps or something, and do screenshots with your computer instead. But if you have photo mode, these are how I edit things. I typically just up the brightness, contrast, and saturation, and only put on a little bit of vignette. And then I zoom in quite a bit, using cropping the frame, but I don't zoom in with my mouse just because it makes it look kind of bug-eyed. But yeah, make sure to kind of crop the frame like I am right now, just like that. And I try to get my whole horse in there, make sure nothing's left out. Then I don't typically put the logo on, and then I change kind of the filter to typically March, but I set that down to halfway so that it lightens up a bit. Lastly, make sure that the time of day is so that the sun is on the horse's coloring, so that they look extra bright and vibrant. And set that depth of field always, because it makes it look like it's actual camera picture since it blurs out the background. I find that I never actually edit my photos aside from using photo mode, so if your platform doesn't have it, it's really not problematic because you can always use an outside editor to help fix up your photos. But yeah, so this is the final product after photo mode, and I'm sure you could do the same with an outside editor too. Just photo mode, it makes it easier. Now I'm going to show you how to jump low. Oof, take a picture jumping low. So you're going to press your photo mode button, right? Your horse is jumping, normal. Then you're going to release and press again really fast. And now your horse jumps slow. Instead of over jumping like every Star Stable horse does every time, it drives me insane. But this time your horse is a lot lower. And this works for the smaller jumps that are typically half the height of your horse. And it looks a lot better. This is something I found out when I was playing out with photo mode, and it's really simple fix, but I've gotten so many questions about it. Final product looks absolutely awesome. So now 2 fun ways. So misbehaving photos, you can obviously just do a typical rare, but there's something more fun that you can do that I have showed before and people asked about, was the bucking picture. So you're going to jump, and when your horse lands, press photo mode, and it looks like your horse is bucking. Now only the new breeds, or a couple of the new breeds even, very few horses have this, because a lot of them, Star Stable horses, land 4 feet at the same time, so it makes it look really weird. So instead, only some of these breeds have it, but I know the Yorvik pony does, so that's a good bonus. In this last hack, you're going to want to be right for this, and you're going to go, and you're going to press X, and then press photo mode. Your horse is going to be performing sliding stop. Then you're going to release photo mode and press photo mode again, so now your horse's head is down, and it looks like your horse is getting up after rolling. It's that simple. It looks like your horse just went for a good roll and just got up. So that's why this is great in wild mode with your horse in a paddock, because it just fits it all so well and makes everything look that much better. But yeah, thought this was kind of a fun tip and trick for all of you who are really curious about how that turned out. So personally, I use Bandicam to film and do screenshots, and I make sure to set a hotkey so that filming makes it a lot easier. But you can always search up how to set that up. It's very simplistic, and it's probably one of the easier ways. And then I use Filmora Wondershare to edit all my videos, and that's also incredibly easy setup. So I just recommend doing the research yourself because I'm not a techie person, so I can't explain it properly. But those are the two things that I use. So the final thing I wanted to do is to explain to you guys how to write your captions for when you do post your photos and your videos. The fun part about captions, it gives you an opportunity to research and challenge yourself when it comes to finding out more about your horse. Captions should be about how your ride went, because if you take a picture of your horse in a lesson, then your caption should be about that lesson and talk a little bit through it. There's so many different possible ideas and captions you could do for photos. You know, you could have had a bad fall that day, or maybe today was your best day, or maybe today just was kind of and it was just kind of a random day to do writing. Either way, though, your captions are a way for you to get really specific and teach other people and help become more knowledgeable about the horses. So you could research the discipline a little bit more and add a little bit of factual evidence, or you could just make sure that you're labeling everything correctly and mentioning everything in the correct light and term. And so it helps people who aren't typically horse knowledgeable to also challenge themselves in researching horses and trying to figure more about the horse world in real life. So that's honestly such a cool part about everything. But yeah, I wrote this really, really cheesy caption on this picture, so you guys knew, in Google Docs too. This is how bad it is. But anyways, let's just make sure it's positive and happy. Okay, something I forgot to mention is, how do you actually post your videos? And well, more cases, videos is just like editing, but how do you actually post your pictures on like Instagram per se? So for Instagram, for me, how I post mine is obviously I take them and they end up in my files on my computer. There are two ways that you can do this. Firstly, actually there's three. Firstly, you can upload them on your own computer through Instagram on your computer. So you can either download Instagram on your computer, or you can use an outside third-party thing like Grambler, which I will link down below, to where you put your photo in and then it'll upload it to your Instagram for you through your computer if that's easier. If you wanted to send that picture to your phone so that you could post it on your phone, then send it to your email on your phone, then open it up on your phone and download that picture on your phone. That's basically how it is. You just have to kind of loophole your way through because it's kind of difficult to directly upload to Instagram. Anyways, though, thanks for the disclaimer. I forgot to add that in, and that's something I wish I would have known before I started it because it took me like a month to figure out. But yeah, I'll link all that stuff below. Okay, so can we talk about my mic quality? I have a good mic, but like my voice is so croaky. It's disgusting. And I keep popping the mic. Like I feel bad for my mic. Anyways, okay, that's beside the point. Anyways, this video is for all of you realistic role players who are advanced maybe, to write below some comments, write below some insight, write below some tips for all those out there who are still figuring out the realistic world. I will be hearting comments on this post. I will only be liking comments or hearting comments on this post that are relevant to help further the discussion of realistic roleplay, so that those are at the top and the informative ones are at the top, so those who are new to it, all those informative comments of other writers too with their tips and tricks will be at the top of the comment section so that you can kind of see that and look through that. But of course, as usual, I will always be reading everyone's comments and insight on this, and I hope you guys like this. I hope it was helpful. I will be answering so many questions, and you seasoned realistic role players, this is your opportunity to shine through and showing those around you how much you know about realistic roleplay. I know like nothing, even though I'm a realistic role player, so, you know, I would like to learn a little more as well. I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, listening to my voice for like a straight up 18 minutes. Oh my god. Thank you so much. See you all next time. Check out the links below in the description and have a great day.